Hey, and welcome back. This will be episode 4 in our developer log in creating this game called AdventRealms, in which you can play either as an adventurer or as a dungeon core. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, in our previous episode, we created all of the C++ classes and then derived our blueprints from those classes. So now, let's really quickly here, we're going to go into project settings, maps modes. In our game mode base, we're going to choose the game mode that we're working on, which is the Core Forged. So let's open up that game mode. And in here, you can see we're going to change the game state to our game state, our player controller, our player state. The default pawn class is going to be BP. Did I really name that as? No, I named it as BP. So BP. That's why. Haha. Delete. Blueprint class. My player state character. Forged. Save. Back to our game mode. And there it is. Alright. Let's compile. Save. Done with that. Basic map. And if we hit play for now, you can see we have our game mode, our game state, our player controller, the player character, the player state, and all of that other good stuff. So we'll stop that. First things first, we are going to go to Ryder, and we're going to set up our camera components. And then we're going to create a mesh for the player. Now, this is only going to be something temporary, so we can kind of see. We're going to do like almost like a top-down, or it'll be slanted top-down, kind of almost like an orthogonal view. So we're going to center it onto a character that we're controlling for now. Once we get everything set up and configured correctly, we are going to delete the mesh because we're only, for the dungeon core player, they're only going to be controlling a camera, right? So let's go ahead and get this set up. Let's go back into Ryder. I'm going to go to the player character, and in here we're going to set our U properties. So U property, and then this will be visible anywhere, blueprint read only. That's fine, but we're going to change this to camera. Meta is going to be allow private access. And we're going to do a class. We're going to U spring arm component. And we're going to do let's copy this. paste, 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 paste everywhere. This is going to be class U camera component. That's good. Do another class, and then we're going to set this as, this will be the game, or the game playability system. So UGSC core components. We'll name this as GSC core component. And this one will be class UGSC ability inputs. C ability input binding component. And in Writer, they really like the tab, and you have to be careful with the tab and enter. It'd be nice if the auto completion was either or, but it's not, which is a huge pain. All right. And here, we're going to, on these classes, we're going to right click, show context. Is that it? Is that it?
Okay, so
No, it's here. Well, this is being a pain. Oh, then let's go ahead and reopen it. What is it? Game projects, AdventRealms. Any day now. All right. Well, while this is processing and all that, let me go grab some more coffee, and I suggest you do the same as well. All right. Hey, look at that. The colors have been changed. Let's do this now. Seriously. All right. So in the previous version of Rider, you could select that, and then you could go to context actions, and then it would allow you to actually create the class. However, in this new version, it does not have that, which is a real pain in the butt. So let's go here, and then under primary actor, we'll do a string on component is equal to create default subject object, and then we're going to use a u spring on component, and we'll name this component. And do a camera. Alright, and then whatever. We're gonna include our ability binding component up here as well. Which will come down to this. OGC ability binding components. Okay, and moving along. For our spring arm component, we need to add the variables to that. So here, to spring arm component. Yeah, we're good here. Component. We don't want to get her. Yeah, we want to do the location, rotation. So set relative location. It's going to be an vector. So 0.f, 0.f. And for now, we'll just do this. Components. Rotation is going to be an F rotator. And then 330.f, 0.f, 0.f. And we need to do our target arm length. So yeah. But instead of 300, we're going to do 600. Spring arm again. And we use pawn rotation is going to be false. Roll. One of these are going to be true. One of them, two of them are going to be false. We'll find out once we get back into the game. I want to say y'all is true. This one will be speed. All right, and we're all done with the spring arms. So let's go up here to do the camera. So camera components. Use control rotation is false. And this one will be field of view. Our field of view, eventually we'll probably want to narrow it down to something between like 25 to 30. Right, and all right, let's go back into the engine. We'll apply the character mesh, just to see the top-down view, to kind of see what it'll eventually look like. So we'll open up our player character. I'm here to our mesh. Before that, let's click on our content browser here, and we're going to add import content, import to add feature or content pack. In third person, we'll probably eventually want to do a top down as well, but just for like those icons. But for now, it's fine. Import everything. Save all. All right. Since we're not actually since we actually don't want a lot of the game stuff that includes with the content pack, we can delete it. mess up. Go to mesh. Skeletal mesh will be, can do either Manny or Quinn, it doesn't matter. If we play, 90, 90. Okay. There we go. And we don't have any inputs or anything, so we're looking down. Great. Yeah, 25 and all that. That zooms up way too much. So where's our spring arm component? So yeah, this is going to be our base view, but then the player will be able to zoom in. Here, let me show you. So our player will be able to zoom in. Here. Okay, zoom in and then zoom out. Yep. So let's reset this. Stop. Save. 90. Alright, let's now here comes the tough part. We're going to create our ability system. So ability system. Abilities. Folder ability set. And in here, let's go to miscellaneous data asset. There's two of them. The I actually may need this. I'll double check the Lyra for now. Yeah, we're looking for ability set. So do the DAS companion. This will be a DA from AS for ability set. Data asset Warforged. Let's actually do this at a base here. Data asset, ability set base, Warforged. Yeah, now that makes sense, right? And while we're here in the engine, let's go ahead and create our actual inputs. So under CoreForged, we are going to create a new folder. We're going to call this input. And in here, we're going to say new folder, input actions. And in here, we're going to go to input actions, IA move. Open this up. And in here, value type is going to be an axis 2D. Let's be camera look. Camera zoom. Okay, for our look, that is going to be axis 2D again because we're looking left and right. And then our zoom is actually just going to be an axis 1D because we're going to want to use the mouse scroll wheel. So we'll save that. All right, we have our basic movement. Let's go back to input. Let's go to input mapping context. No, we don't even need to do that. We could just say IMC CoreForged. All right. This will be move. This will be look. And then this will be, where's my zoom? Fun times. Let's see. Alright, if all else fails, we close the engine. We do another build, and then we open the engine back up. Okay, so I'm actually recording this post the video, and the reason why is because it looks like I muted my mic. So, we're going to reopen the engine and go into the IMC. So as you can see, basically I wasn't able to apply the input actions, and I went ahead and asked AI in order to do that, and it basically gave me the heads up that in the dropdown, you need to uh, enable searching for the plugins folder. So that's what we did. Okay, and as far as the input actions go, we'll implement the look, move, and zoom. So in look, move and zoom. Okay, first for the look, we're going to use the mouse, the 2D axis. And then, yeah, 2D. Okay, and with the 2D axis, we do need to negate it, so that way it acts like normal. And then on the move, we want our WASD movement. So you just click on the little keyboard icon, and then you click on W. Now for the W, we do need to do a swizzle. And that's it. The S is going to be a swizzle as well as negate. D for right won't have any modifiers. The A will have a negate. Okay, and then as far as the zoom goes, we'll do a mouse wheel axis. And then we want to go ahead and apply a smooth modifier on it, as well as a scalar, and then also negate. Okay, and next up we are doing the show debug enhanced input just to make sure that everything works. Okay, but before we do that, we need to actually we need to apply it to our player controls. So you click on the uh, gas ability input binding component. Your input mapping context will be the IMC core. Okay, and you can see our mouse is being moved, the zoom works, and the WASD movement. Everything is being detected fine. All right, and basically from here, we are going to create our actual implementation into C++. And this is actually going to be a kind of a little bit of a headache because we're using the Lyra example, and yeah, so we basically just copy paste everything from the Lyra example, and we change the name of the game from Lyra to AdventRealms. Okay. Okay, and we are just going through. Okay, and look at that, we have a find and replace tool within a writer. Gotta love it. Uh, Okay, when we were doing some builds, we were getting errors with the DLLs, not being able to find the plugins. Now, I opened up the engine again, and I did see that a lot of these plugins that Lyra were using are not built into the actual engine itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy over the plugins from Lyra to our game. And then we're going to add that uh, to the dependencies, just like Lyra does. So that's all good. And you can see we have a common input, common UI, or yeah, common input. We're adding in the audio and everything. And this is basically just so we can get the settings to work. We need the settings in order to get our inputs to work. So, you can see all the coding that we've done. Basically, I wanted to check to see if we could just comment a lot of it out, but unfortunately, it wouldn't build correctly. So, what we're going to end up needing to do is in the next episode, we're going to get into the implementing settings that the player will be able to choose. You know, if you ever played a game, you know, you have your game settings. So let's end it here. And in the next episode, we'll start looking into settings, and then after we get our various settings for performance, the platform emulation settings, the audio settings, we'll copy what we need from the player, from the Lyra player into our AdventRealms player. So we'll have to make a base class for the player state character that uses the Lyra settings. And then once we create the base class, then our dungeon core player will be able to derive from that base class. Got it? Got it. Good. So we'll see you guys here in a bit. Later.